What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Sunday night of Plume, 9 p.m. Eastern. I don't have a name for it. Plume nights, Plumecast nights. I don't know. I used to call it Plumecast. I may just go with that. Welcome back to another Sunday night of Plumecast. Hope everyone is having a great night. I was missed last week, had some things come up, but back again this week. And if you are joining the chat for the first time and you are jumping into my live stream, you may be confused saying, why is Plume live? Because I've only started going live recently over the last month or so. I'm known for my VODs at 8 a.m., which are still on the way, of course. Tomorrow there'll be a nice long, I think about an 18-minute video, so stay tuned for that one. But yeah, I just want to jump in here on Sunday nights at 9, talk about the week in gaming, hang out with you guys, go through some topics, and just kind of debrief the week. Some of the biggest stories that happened throughout the week is kind of what I do here on this show. So how is everyone doing, though? How's everyone doing? Plume's World Party Time. That would be that'd be a great name. Long would be a long name. I don't know how many people would be able to remember that, but it would be a cool name. I don't mind long names. Not great for marketing, but you know, they can work sometimes. What's up, Wayne's World? Sickle Shells, Mari, Fitty, Pity, Ben, JJ Sayin, Vank, Kochek. I'm trying to read these names slowly because I'm terrible with reading names. Talos, how you doing, Talos? Welcome to the chat. So it was a pretty eventful week. We're in like the aftermath, I want to say, of the doom and gloom and the FUD towards Xbox, and just how what Xbox is going to be doing is going to be how that's going to shape the gaming industry going forward. But I would say last week we were kind of in the aftermath of it, but it was still a very big week when there was lots of news that did come out, lots of things to talk about. And it's the gaming industry as we know it, in my opinion, is changing. And I mean, I think it's been changing for a while. I don't think this is anything new whatsoever. I think if you've been following everything that's been happening across the industry for the last 3, 4, 5 years, it's kind of all been leading to this direction. And we're seeing this across many different, not just Xbox, we're seeing the expansion out of the major companies, PlayStation, Xbox. You're seeing them have to go out there and reach more players. You're also seeing in 2024, the big publishers, the big third-party publishers having to kind of downsize and reduce their costs because of how much money they've been spending. And especially over the pandemic, where I think that is a major thing that has led to a lot of what has been happening is the pandemic. A lot of these companies wanted to cash in really fast because people were locked in their homes. They wanted to make money off of everybody not being able to do anything else. Now we're kind of seeing the downfall of that with all the firings, with the overspending, the IPs that are being canceled. Like, think of one like Embracer Group has been by far the worst. With all the stuff that has been happening. Think about like Deus Ex. I don't know if we're ever going to get another one of those because of Embracer Group. And just a lot of other stuff that has been going on there. But what's up, everybody? Am I going to be getting the Erdtree? Not right away. I have so many games to play. So many games to play right now. My backlog is actually insane. I mean, right now I'm just finishing up Solar Ash. I'm at the very end, like on the last boss or on the last part of the world, which is just like a smaller indie game. And it said like it only took like 5-6 hours to beat, but I've put in at least 12 hours into it so far, 10 to 12 hours into it so far, and it is a phenomenal game, just like a 3D action platformer that is really well done. And I love jumping in now to my back catalog with older games I just haven't played yet, and smaller games too, because it really is where there's a huge right now, at least for me, a massive oversaturation in the games that I have to play, that I want to play. So I'm kind of in that mode where I'm gonna try a little bit here to have one older game on the side and then maybe a newer game as well going at the same time. But I definitely want to get in there and beat off some of those games. That did not sound right coming out of my mouth. No. That did okay. I want to go back and finish some of those games. That I haven't finished yet. I can see here and there. What's up? It's Timmy. I can see like Remnant 2 is in Game Pass. And we just got Dead Island 2 that just dropped into Game Pass, right? And I want to play Dead Island 2. I've been wanting to play that since it came out, and I just hadn't gotten to it. I never bought it, thankfully, and now it's all of a sudden dropped into Xbox Game Pass. So when it comes to Dead Island 2, I was also seeing a lot of talk about how they have released. I know we're just going off on a tangent here, but we do have some topics to get to, which I will jump into after a little bit here as I wait for some more people to jump in. I saw a lot of chatter about Dead Island 2 dropping into Game Pass, and people were like, why is it only an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate? Then you see a lot. Saw people talking about maybe this is a new strategy of Game Pass, and they're going to make sure that they get people to subscribe to the Ultimate, and they're going to withhold games from just PC Game Pass or console Game Pass and have all these different tiers. It's not, I don't think that is at all. No one, the main reason Dead Island 2 isn't only an Ultimate is because it's an Epic Game Store exclusive. So I think once that exclusivity ends, then it will drop into PC Game Pass as well, or it may not, but that's why. And that was a shadow drop. It's weird how they did that. Dead Island 2 just out of nowhere just dropped it into Game Pass. And I thought that's like a bigger game to get. And they didn't even advertise it or nothing. It's just boom, Game Pass, which is something, it's kind of something that Xbox and Game Pass do all the time, which I think is a great thing for the gamer, where you're just out of nowhere getting hit with a game that you didn't see coming. And but it's weird for the whole marketing style thing. So you think they would want to market that one. I guess they did put out a blog post after as well. But that's another one that's on my backlog. I'm actually going through Banisher's Ghost of New Eden as well. I want to say I'm 10, 11 hours into that. And here's the thing, right? Because then I go back and I play like Solar Ash, and I got hooked on Solar Ash, so I've been binging that, pretty much finishing that game up. And I haven't gone back to Banishers. And then I just get in this cycle of games I get halfway through, and then I don't finish them for a long time after that. And then I have to go back, kind of remind myself of what has actually happened in the game in terms of the story when I'm playing story-driven games. And then I actually bought Helldivers 2 last night or the night before on Steam, and I played about 3 to 4 hours of that actually last night with some friends, and it was really fun. It was really, really fun. It's just Helldivers. It's nothing like out of this world. It's nothing that I played the first Helldiver, so it's similar in that sense, but it's like the way better graphics, third person, and just a bigger game, of course. But it's fun. I mean, it is a fun game. It gets really intense when you're in harder missions and you're just running around trying to survive, and you can see that you're running out of lives, trying to just not get killed by these massive bugs. Some bugs are super annoying, but it's definitely a fun co-op game. So I can see why a lot of people are really enjoying it. So that's another one I picked up that just jumps into my rotation now. That's one to see. With those types of games, though, you can just jump in anytime. It's not like if you don't play it for, at least I don't feel like this. Maybe some people do because they want to complete everything in the battle passes and stuff. But for me, it's like if I don't play Helldivers until next weekend again, I'm not going to be like, oh man, I've just I forget what's happening in this game, or I've made no progress. I won't feel bad about it because there's not. It's just kind of one that's just going to be there in the library that I'm going to be jumping into and playing it all the time for a round or two, which is great for the type of gaming that works right now with me and with my life. Long story-driven games are hard because I play them, but it takes me a long time to get through them. Because if I'm sitting down, I have 30 minutes, I have an hour to play a game. I don't want to get wrapped up in a story. I don't want to have to walk away after an hour and then forget what's happening if I don't jump back into it a week later and stuff. And I don't have the greatest memory when it comes to game stories, when it comes to character names, when it comes to that type of stuff. I've played like Halo, probably the most. That's probably the franchise I've played the most of. played all the campaigns multiple times, played through the Master Chief Collection stuff, and I know a lot about it. But if you were to ask me right on the spot, like something I probably would forget at this point. Just, I don't know, my brain isn't great with that type of stuff. But it's probably the franchise I've played the most. Diablo 4 coming to Game Pass is great. March 28th. Really happy to see that. It's the first big Blizzard game coming in to the service. I wonder if this is like the domino that knocks down the rest, and then there will be more coming into it. But yeah, no, that's awesome. Diablo 4, I'm happy that it is coming into Game Pass. It's perfect for Game Pass too. I haven't played too much of it, so I'm going to be jumping in when it comes to Game Pass. Am I playing the new Final Fantasy? Yeah, I definitely will be playing the new Final Fantasy. Not right away, but I definitely will, because I played part 1. I've played the original Final Fantasy 7 on PS1. I played it on PS Vita. I really, really like Final Fantasy 7. So yeah, I'll definitely be playing the new Final Fantasy, just not right away. Just not right away. Again, my backlog is too big. And plus, it's the game will go on sale most likely in a couple months. Who knows? Like it'll be cheaper than in Canada. It's like $90 after tax. So I'll wait until it drops in price and stuff and then pick it up. It's not about my memory actually going away. It's that I have so many things going on in my brain, and it's like hard for me to recall specific little things about games because I play so many different games. I only played one game over and over again. I'm talking to Froggy here, who's asking, was my memory going? No, it's not going. But if I only played one game over and over and over again, I remember it. But I play so many different games and so many different genres that it's just, there's a lot of information going on. Maybe I just don't have a great memory. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm not that smart. I don't know. Yeah. So welcome. If anyone just jumping in here, just hanging out tonight, talking games, have some topics to get into. We'll probably switch over to that in just a few minutes. Going through the chat here. What is your prediction for the going cadence of Activision games going into Game Pass? Ooh, that is an interesting one. I don't know. That's tough. I think like we get Diablo, and then I think we probably get an announcement at the summer showcase of like older games. Maybe we get some Crashes and Spyros thrown in there into the service. Maybe we get Tony Hawk, the 1 and 2 remake thrown in, and we get some of those older IPs that probably will just like, they can give us in a bunch, and then we'll probably after that get like Call of Duty, the new one coming out, and then also maybe the older ones as well. It's really weird how they're doing it. Everything's kind of up in the air, I think, right now, with how they have to handle all these Activision Blizzard games because of the deal, because of them signing the cloud rights to Ubisoft, right? So I'm sure there is a lot of stuff that is going on behind closed doors that isn't just as easy as we want to think it is, where it's just Xbox snapping their fingers and saying, hey, this game is in Game Pass. This game is in Game Pass. So we'll see. I think Phil lied about Bethesda's new games are only for the Xbox ecosystem. I made an entire video about that before they did their business update, when we heard the rumors about Hi-Fi Rush that was going to be dropping in. Well, obviously we know that is now dropping into PS5 and Nintendo Switch. And I do think at that point they were deceitful, absolutely. But then they've obviously updated their business with the business update, and at this point, it's like you can't say that they're lying now, because what we know is that this is their plan going forward. And at this point, as a consumer, you get to make the choice of if this bothers you or not. Me, it doesn't bother me. I made the whole video and I emphasize that I don't care that games are going on to PlayStation and games are going on to Nintendo. What does bother me, however, is when the companies lie to their consumers. Now, I don't think Phil Spencer came out at the Bethesda roundtable in consciously was like, okay, yeah, we're going to lie and try to get people to sign up to Game Pass, even though in 2 years or 3 years, whatever it is, however long the time frame is, we're going to pull the rug out from them. What I think is that was their plan at that time. I don't think he came out and lied. But at that time, that was their plan. And then they spent $70 billion. Things change. And now their plan is we are going to be one of the biggest publishers. Are they the biggest publisher right now? Think so? Biggest third-party publisher? Anyways, we are the biggest or one of the biggest publishers in the world. We are kind of sitting here with gold mines of games and money that's going to be left on the table. So things have to change. And what does that mean in the future? I don't know. I don't know. One thing is for sure, it's going to be more than those 4 games. I can almost guarantee that, unless they all completely flop. But that's my, I don't want to say I'm guaranteeing, that's my prediction. It's definitely going to be more than those 4 games. I mean, he left the table wide open. They left the doors wide open. And I honestly wish at the Bethesda roundtable, that's what they would have done. That's why it was frustrating, because when you heard the rumors of Hi-Fi Rush, what I was thinking was going to happen, which I would have thought, which would have been terrible if they did it this way, was that Nintendo Direct was going to hit without any word from Xbox, and we would have got the announcement of Hi-Fi or not Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, maybe Hi-Fi Rush at that time. I thought Hi-Fi Rush was going to be on the Switch, so Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and Pentiment all going to the Switch, and that would have been terrible, because people would have been looking at Xbox, and if they wouldn't have said anything. So at that point, that's why I made that video, and I was like, don't do this, because you're going to be known as basically liars based off what was said at the Bethesda roundtable. It's going to hurt the brand hugely, and I don't think it's worth the cost benefit for the consumers, because consumers are going to be super pissed off. But then they had the update, and it makes the whole Nintendo Direct announcement hurt less, I guess, for some people. I mean, like I said, I don't care if these games go on PlayStation and Nintendo. That's just the honest truth. If you go back and you watch my videos from 2000, what is wrong with me? 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. I've always held that exclusivity. This has always been my thoughts on this. Exclusivity does not benefit consumers at all. It only benefits the companies, the marketing tool, and it allows them to kind of manipulate people into staying with that one company and not spending money anywhere else. That's kind of what exclusives do. There's just a marketing tool. I know that's hard for a lot of people to wrap their heads around, because people throughout generations, and me too, I mean, going back to Sega versus Nintendo, Super Nintendo versus the Sega Genesis, like the whole thing was console wars. The whole thing was Sega does what Nintendo don't, right? Like that was the whole thing. But see how good that marketing is? And you go through the Super Nintendo, you go through the N64 versus the PS1, and then you go through the PS2 versus the OG Xbox and the GameCube, and it was all about the exclusives and which box was better than the other. And it was great then. That was completely fine, because the development costs of those games weren't as crazy as they are now. And I mean, their profit margins were bigger, and these companies could continue with that type of thing. But that's where we're at a point now where the exclusives aren't benefiting these companies anymore. That's why we're seeing this change. That's the reality of the situation. Why this change is happening, because the exclusivity talk, the exclusives, is just not benefiting these companies anymore, and it's not benefiting PlayStation as much anymore either. And they're moving way past exclusives as well. You're seeing them putting more games everywhere. You're seeing them putting more games on PC and mobile. Will they ever put games? Well, they're already putting games on Xbox. You have MLB The Show. People forget that Bungie is going to be publishing all their games on Xbox. I wouldn't be surprised if other games as a service games from PlayStation eventually do end up on Xbox. So exclusivity is a marketing tool. I've always thought this isn't new for me, but I did think when we heard the rumors of Hi-Fi Rush, they needed to at least say something. And I didn't think they were going to, but they did. And now it's up to the consumer to decide whether it's a huge deal for them or not. I honestly don't know why it would be a huge deal for some people. I guess the fear, I mean, we've talked about this so many times, the fear that the console is going away, which we know it isn't. The fear that third parties are going to be missing Xbox. We know that Xbox is they've increased their third party acquisition of games this generation. I mean, oh man, this one gets me. Nintendo Direct happens. I know I'm ranting here. But before we continue, Adidas 20 always supporting the channel. I appreciate that, my man. Member for Plume Pass for 29 months, which reminds me, I always forget to tell people. I know people always say, oh, you have to market all the things you have, and I always kind of forget to do that. But I have Plume Pass. It's $1 a month. Gives you some nice emoticons or whatever. And that's it. Just kind of supports the channel. If you want to check that out, $1 a month, and it's in the memberships on YouTube. But again, Adidas20 appreciate it. Appreciate the 29 months of being a member of plunecast. But let's get back and let's talk about the Nintendo Direct. I'm kind of going completely off script as to what I was going to do. I actually had topics lined up and everything. I had my fancy screen with the browser, but we'll just keep talking. The Nintendo Direct hits, and then there's those 2 games that get announced that aren't coming to Xbox: the Gundam Breakers 4 and Monster Hunter Stories. Now, and that caused like people talking. I would say only reason why a lot of people are talking about those 2 games missing Xbox after this Nintendo Direct is because of everything that's happened over the last 2 weeks. And there's like outrage about this and saying, hey, look, this is what happens when you put your games on PlayStation and Nintendo. I don't think putting the games on PlayStation and Nintendo had anything to do with those games missing. I don't think that putting those 4 games will have anything to do with more games missing in the future. What I think here is that the reality of the situation is when it comes to Xbox, they do not sell in Japan. They just don't. They can try their hardest. They can do everything, pull out every magical tool that they have, business idea that they have. The Xbox is not going to sell enough in Japan. It just isn't going to sell in Japan. They could have 10 amazing 10 out of 10 exclusives in a row, and the Xboxes still will not sell well in Japan. I would bet on that. So I think when you look at this, and then you take a step back and you look Atlas games, Persona, SMT5, they showed off the new Atlas game. What's it called? Metaphor at the Xbox showcase, and all the Yakuza games in Game Pass. Or SMT5, sorry, I should say. What else? There's Final Fantasy 14. Like, their third-party support with Japanese games has increased this generation versus last generation. So that narrative that like, oh, these small niche games, one is a 3DS remaster, remake, and then Gundam Breaker, which was never there anyways. The last 3 weren't there, are skipping Xbox because these developers are losing faith in the platform. No, the reason those games are skipping Xbox is because realistically, they're not going to sell well at all on Xbox. They probably sell far more in the Japanese market. There's no Xboxes in the Japanese market, and Xbox is looking at this. Is looking at how else can they grow in the Asian markets, in the Japanese market specifically. How else can they grow when the console just won't sell? They have to get players, they have to get users onto the Xbox ecosystem. The one way, another strategy to potentially be able to do this would be to put their games where the gamers are. I know people don't want to hear that, but if they do that, there is a chance that somebody playing Hi-Fi Rush on the PlayStation 5 is like, oh wow, this is an Xbox game. Okay, I didn't know that was an Xbox game. I'm going to check out what Xbox is all about. I'm going to check out what other games they have in their catalog. I'm going to check out the ecosystem. And then that may attract them to subscribe to Xbox Game Pass. That may attract them to potentially go out and buy an Xbox Series S. Things like that. They have to find other ways to capture users in Japan. If people really want those Gundam Breakers and those Monster Hunter Stories games, if they really want those, that's what Xbox has to do, is build their player base in Japan. That's what they have to do, because Capcom, Square, Konami, like all of these major publishers, they're not looking at how many Xboxes there are. They're looking at how many people are playing in the Xbox ecosystem. How many potential customers can they get their game in front of? And I'm guessing in the Japanese market, where those 2 games that Nintendo showed off are probably going to sell the most. I don't even know how much they'll even sell on the Switch in North America, or even on PlayStation North America. It would be interesting to see those numbers. I would be surprised if they're insane numbers. They probably won't be. They're looking at it and they're just like, there's no players in Japan on Xbox, so why publish these small niche games? And one thing too with I think it's Monster Hunter's one. It's only on PS4. It's not even a PS5 game, but it'll be able to be played via backwards compatibility. So I think like there's many different ways of looking at this, and not all of it is bad. Not all of it is bad. Matthew with the gift of the one Plume Network membership. I appreciate that, Matthew. Appreciate that. It means a lot. Thank you. So that's kind of my take on. I know I went on a huge rant there about do I think they lied. This is Sadia and the board of directors treating gaming just like a movie and show streaming. Yeah, I mean, that's probably part of it. I would say that's probably part of it. You do have the suits that obviously aren't gamers. Like, I doubt Sadia is playing very many games. The board of directors just wants to make money, but every company is there just to make money. Every company is there just to make money. Thoughts on the new Elder Scrolls going to PlayStation rumor? It's a rumor. It's an absolute rumor. That's probably the biggest. It's just complete speculation. Like, I think, where is that coming from? I'm not even sure where that's coming from. I thought I saw something on Twitter. Was it somebody tweeted that Xbox Era had said it, but obviously they didn't say that because I went into the comments right away, and I think it was Special. I forget all their names. Not Special Nick, but the other guy who's like was like trolling because obviously they didn't say it, or saying get out of here or something. They're probably, I didn't listen to what they said. I'm guessing they're just speculating and talking about it. So I don't think that's an actual thing. Could it go to PlayStation? Sure, but it's so far out. I mean, we'll never know. We're going to be in a completely different industry and a completely different time when Elder Scrolls 6 does come out. Well, what I think what would happen maybe is that Game Pass day one, maybe like a 6 months exclusive to buy on Xbox, and then maybe it goes to PlayStation after that. So who knows? So many Xbox YouTubers and social media people openly talk about Xbox's poor marketing, and they seemingly do nothing to fix it. Yeah, I don't know. It's Xbox is a massive company. Microsoft's a massive company. So I don't know. They probably just it's not good. It's not good for sure. WebDave and his viewers have joined the show. Welcome. Appreciate that. Appreciate you guys jumping over. Make sure to go check out the Gamers Council podcast. Link is in the description. Great podcast. I'm sure a lot of you here listen to it already, but it's an awesome podcast. So go check that out. His show runs, I believe, 7 p.m. on Sunday, just before I start. And then once their show is over, just sends his viewers here. So I really appreciate that. Web Dave. Yeah, definitely go check it out. Link is in the description for sure. Web Dave raid. I love the Web Dave raid. What's up, Jeremy? What's up? What is going on? So we were just ranting about, I guess everything, like the aftermath of everything that's been going on. What's up? I got so. How you doing? I appreciate you jumping over here. And thanks, Web Dave and Retchy for sending you guys over. Lots of people here from Web Dave. What's up? I appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. We were just talking about Hi-Fi Rush, Japanese audience, Xbox having to get their games in front of people, and just a bunch of other things that have been going on. If you are jumping in here, this is my show Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just kind of jump on here. I make daily news videos, 8 a.m. Monday to Friday. And then Sunday nights, I just come on. We talk about what's happened throughout the week and just kind of debrief what's going on and hang out and just you guys ask questions and we just hang out. It's a fun time. Hope everyone's having a good week, good Sunday, getting ready for another week. It's been a pretty wild 2024 so far in terms of gaming news. I have to admit, like I much faster than last year in terms of crazy news. Last year essentially was dominated for like 8 months of the year with ABK news. So at least there's a little bit more diversity here in the news, but it's going to be a fun year. Reese with welcome to Plume Pass. I appreciate that, Reese. Appreciate that. Plume Pass, $1 just supports the channel, and you get a couple of cool, I don't know, logos, emoticons, whatever they're called, stickers. I don't know what they're called. But yeah, $1 just supports the channel. Appreciate that, Reese. 3:30 a.m. 3:30 a.m. Now, what's great So when it comes to Xbox putting their games, I have topics. I swear I have topics. Well, we just got started talking and I've just kind of completely gone off script. And I like being just organic here. So we're going to continue to go off script here for a second. And we're going to continue to talk about Xbox and their games and why I actually don't think it's a big deal and why I think the majority of people actually don't care that much as long as they are able to play their games where they want to play their games. And a lot of the discussion of the outrage and the people being so pissed off is literally just social media and online and represents a minority. At least on my channel, most people do not care. And I'll prove to you that most people do not care. Oh man, it's not there yet. I will prove to you. I am going to pull it up. Bear with me. Where I'm going to prove to you. 1 second here. It is going to be proven. If I can find the right source here to get it up. There it is. All right. So I'm going to prove to you guys why most people do not care, at least in my community, in the Plume Network community, the smartest community in gaming. I did a poll this week. And I asked people how they felt about the future of Xbox, obviously after everything that's happened. And I got 2.1K votes right now. It's still going, so if you want to go and vote. And 72% people felt positive. So even with all the FUD and even with all the negativity surrounding Xbox, most people still feel positive about the future of Xbox. And why not? I mean, why wouldn't you feel positive? That's the thing, right? There's no reason not to feel positive about the future of Xbox. If you're ingrained in the ecosystem, you have Game Pass, and there's so much about the future that is going to be very good, very consumer friendly in terms of like being able to play games anywhere, all of the first party content, Game Pass growing, all of these things, potentially a handheld that's been rumored over and over again. And we did just hear that they spent they have a $15 billion partnership with Intel. So maybe that's going to be the next chip manufacturer for the next Xbox. It could make sense for like the handheld because MSI is using Intel and I believe other handhelds are using Intel. So there is a lot to look forward to in terms of positivity. But before we continue here, Chaos Theory 81. Welcome to Plume Pass. I appreciate that, Chaos Theory. Appreciate this support, guys. Appreciate the support. And especially everyone who jumped in from the chat at the beginning and everyone coming over here from Web Dave's show. I really appreciate, guys. Yeah, most people are positive. And what this tells me, I did this poll on purpose because I kind of wanted to see like, where's my community stand? Because I know there are some communities out there that maybe are all pissed off, but who knows, right? Maybe not. I want to see kind of where people generally stand on this. And most people don't care. Most people are positive on the future of Xbox, even with the 4 games going over to PlayStation and to the Nintendo Switch, and with the prospect that more games are going to be going over. I think more will be going over. They did leave the door open. I think is basically Phil just saying there will be some. I think like Sea of Thieves and I think Grounded are going to do very well on PlayStation and Nintendo respectively. So I expect those two to do great. We may see more of those styles of games going over. I'm skeptical of how well Pentiment is going to do because they kind of just threw that one into the sizzle reel for the Nintendo Direct and like didn't market it at all. Like I don't know how many people are going to be playing Pentiment. Not that Pentiment's a bad game or anything, but it's just there's no buzz around Pentiment. Right. And there's probably no buzz around it on the Switch and no buzz around it on the PS5. Hi-Fi Rush is going to have some buzz. I think Hi-Fi Rush will do very, very well. So the future, no matter what, I think very positive. They expanded out. You can play anywhere. Soon we're going to be able to play our purchase games via the cloud, which is great. And if they make it where you can just literally play anything that you have bought via your Xbox, download it and play on any device, I think that is a great future. Honestly, I think it is. I'm still going to buy the Xbox consoles. I'm still going to buy them. That's why I'll play most of my gaming. But then if I can just take my ROG Ally, take my phone and play all my Game Pass and my purchase stuff, I mean, that's great. That's a great thing. So most people are positive, and all of the craziness you hear on social media, that's just a small minority of people. That's just a loud minority of people that are I guess, raging about stuff all the time. One thing I realized with me is like, maybe I'm not the best critic in the world. Maybe I'm not the best. I don't get mad about as like everything. And I feel like whenever I go on Twitter, everyone is always mad. And I'm like, should I start being mad about like, am I just naive and stupid? Like, am I supposed to be mad about this stuff? Like about everything? I don't know. Maybe I'm just too like light on criticizing stuff. Reformed Phil has talked about the uniqueness of upcoming hardware. Do you think the next gen Xbox could be a lower price Switch like hybrid and a more expensive console PC hybrid? I think it will be the lower price Switch like, and then I think it will be a higher price like high end PC like console. Oh yeah, no, but not a hybrid. Oh wait, am I reading that wrong? Switch like hybrid, console PC. Yes, that's what I think it will be. It'll be like a box that you connect to your TV, probably a higher price, maybe 600 or something. And then it'll be like a lower price $300 Switch style, which makes complete sense. That's a smart way. They should have honestly done that. If they would have done that instead of the Xbox Series S, whew, that would have been really smart this gen. But I think what happened was Steam Deck came out, and Steam Deck like opened up handheld gaming again. It opened up handheld gaming again, and it showed that people are very interested in it. Because as soon as Steam Deck dropped, then you saw the ROG, you saw the Legion Go, you saw the MSI one, you see Aya Neo with all of their crazy handhelds, which is super cool. Like the handheld gaming market has exploded. So yeah, I definitely think Xbox is going to want to tap into that. But I'm excited for that. I love handhelds. I've always loved handhelds. One thing I will say is like, I love handheld since Game Boy. I would say Game Boy Colors when I really first started into it, but it was always like you had your handheld games that were completely different than the console versions, and that's completely gone away. Now everything is just cohesive as one, which is super cool. I never in my mind when I was playing my Game Boy Advance, which is probably Game Boy Advance is probably my favorite handheld. GBA and 3DS was incredible too, though. Like the DS and 3DS were both really good. Vita was also really good. I mean, I loved all handhelds, but I never in my life thought that we'd be playing these big AAA games on the go like we do today, which is insane. All they have to do is improve the battery life on some of these things and get a nice console OS, and that's where Xbox can differentiate themselves. And I think would have a huge win and a major seller for a handheld is if they release a handheld console with an Xbox OS on there that is just nice to use, like what the Steam Deck has. That'll completely differentiate itself from the other Windows-based handhelds out there. But well, I had topics and stuff, but when we're talking about handhelds, there was this that happened. There was this that happened this week, which is pretty big. And where is it here? So I'm sure if you guys watch my video, you'll know about this. My 8 a.m. videos, you'll know about this. But if you haven't, Microsoft and Intel struck a deal for a custom chip deal worth $15 billion. Now, we don't know what this is going to be used for. It doesn't say. Like, it may not be used for Xbox. It may be used for completely other things, and they may stick with AMD for their consoles going forward. But this is what it is. So Intel will be producing custom chips designed by Microsoft for Microsoft as a part of the deal. Intel says is worth more than $15 billion. And it says that this was announced at the Intel Foundry event, but they did not specify what the chips will be used for. But Microsoft has been planning in-house designs for both processors and AI accelerators. Satya Nadella says we are in the midst of a very exciting platform shift that will fundamentally transform productivity for every individual organization and the entire industry. Now, then there is this here. This was published February 4th and then updated on February 16th. saying, and this is from Tweakdown saying, Intel wants to be inside Microsoft's next gen Xbox console, and it will be built in the US. So that'd be a huge shift, right? And they're saying here that they were reportedly gunning hard to win the contract to both build Microsoft a semi-custom APU for its next-gen Xbox console and fabricate the chip at its own foundry. This is compared to both console SoCs being made by AMD and fabbed at the TSMC in Taiwan, right? So this was kind of speculation, and then obviously we now see this deal hitting. And I mean, this may be it. Maybe they're going to be going Intel for the next generation Xbox, which it would be a huge shift. It'll be interesting to see how this would work out. Like I said, we're seeing stuff like the MSI Claw with Intel in its handheld device. So maybe because Xbox is looking at how these PC handhelds are using Intel for their chips, they're like, well, we'll get on board with that. Well, since you guys are already doing this for these competitors, for these other PC handhelds, why don't you make the chip for the upcoming portable Xbox or Xbox handheld? I think at this point, it's almost a must with the excitement for it, with the demand for PC handhelds. It would be a huge missed opportunity if somehow Xbox just doesn't go ahead with creating a PC handheld. I think they have to do it at this point. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. One thing's for sure is the console is not going away. I know that was a huge thing. But yeah, got 192 of you guys in here. I appreciate everyone dropping by. Those who have dropped in just from seeing the stream go live and part of the Plume network community, and everyone who's dropped in through WebDave and from the Gamers Council podcast. Appreciate you guys all dropping in here and talking games. How's everyone doing tonight? How's everyone doing? But it's a crazy time. It's a crazy time. The industry is definitely changing. Even the chip manufacturers are going to potentially be changing in the future. We'll see what PlayStation does. I think a major thing too is like, what's the PS5 Pro going to be? How is that going to affect what Xbox decides to do and when they release their consoles? Because we still don't know when that's coming out. If it is coming out, the rumors are saying it is coming out this like June, July time frame. So there's so many, and then there's also the Nintendo Switch too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening right now. We're getting into that time. We're about midway through the generation. I feel like this one may be a little bit shorter if Xbox does end up releasing a console in 2026. But we're going to get into the next couple of years of just tons of rumors and speculation on what the hardware is going to be. So does Intel have its own FSR? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't. Someone in the chat will probably know that. It's the XESS or something. But I don't know if it's any good, and I'm not sure what it's called. But apparently, like, we're hearing stuff about like PlayStation and these companies trying to develop their own in-house, or was it Nintendo trying to develop its own in-house DLSS or something like that? So I don't know how good Intel's version is though compared to. I mean, I have an NVIDIA GPU on my PC, and then obviously FSR would be on the Xbox and on the Xbox console. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see. They have DLSS, their version of it. Yeah, XESS or something it's called. Yeah, XCSS. Yeah. XS? I don't know. PS5 Pro is DOA. Yeah, so there you go. You can see in the chat there, XCSS. So yeah, I don't know how good it is. Does anyone have experience with that? But we will see. We'll see what happens. DLSS is the best. I mean, that's kind of the way I think about it, but mean, I only really use NVIDIA GPUs. I would potentially try AMD. I've heard good things about the AMD GPUs. It's just, everyone, I feel like NVIDIA is the most popular and it's most people get. I still have a 40 series card, so we'll upgrade eventually one day. But when it does come to hardware, there is also this that is happening. I'm going to talk about this tomorrow in my video at 8, so stay tuned for that, but we'll talk about it here too. This one's weird. I don't know if I totally believe this. I do kind of believe it, just because I know I'm contradicting myself in the span of 10 seconds, but I guess I believe it because of what we saw from the FTC documents. But then we also heard like people saying it was like canceled. So I don't know. I think it will come out. But this is the all digital Xbox Series X. Apparently it's a white console. Obviously no disc reader in it. And this is coming here from Exputer, where they have apparently seen video footage or footage of some sort of the console itself. And they're saying that it could be $50 to $100 lower than the MSRP of the current Xbox Series X with 1 terabyte of storage. So $450 or $400 would be the price of the console itself. But they do say here that Microsoft is currently working to release a white colored Xbox Series X with no disc reader. Sources close to Exputer have revealed confidential footage to confirm it to us. The all digital console is expected to be released sometime between the upcoming months of June and July, but there are chances for a slight delay on that front as well. So apparently they have seen footage of this all digital Xbox Series X, and they believe it's going to be coming out sometime in the summer, although that could be delayed, and it will be $50 to $100 less than the disc version of the Xbox Series X. So I guess that's the new hardware the Xbox will be talking about this summer. Like, I know Sarah Bond says she's going to be talking about the future. Will they talk about, I doubt they're going to talk about like the next generation Xbox this year. I would be very surprised. I feel like this is what they're going to talk about and then announce the release date for it. I feel like it'll be a release date. If it is July, it'll be like, here's the new Xbox Series X digital at the June showcase. Go pre-order right now, comes out in a month. That could happen, but then I feel like it will more be like this is coming out in like October and pre-orders go live in a month or something. So interesting here with all of the talk of Xbox hardware being dead. We're potentially going to be getting more Xbox hardware this generation, which is the all digital version. Now, the biggest question I have when it comes to this will be, are they releasing a separate disk drive for it? I think they should, because there will be people who have a current Xbox Series X that just kind of want to upgrade. And they just want to upgrade and they want to get the digital, but they have a bunch of discs because they have a disc reader on their Series X, right? So they want to still be able to play those games. So will they have a separate disk drive, and will that disk drive work across all of the Xboxes? Like, will that work on my Series S as well? Because that would be super cool. I really hope so, because I have a good amount of physical Xbox games that I would love to just pop in onto the Series S itself. So I wonder if those two things will happen, but we'll see. I mean, it's a digital Series X. It's not that exciting. I think for some people, at least for me, it may replace my Series S as my second console. And I may just get rid of the Series S and have 2 Series X's. Then the other thing is the size, because the reality is when the Series X released, the size of the console, even now, I look at my Series X. It's a pretty sleek looking small console still. So how much smaller will this thing be cylindrical if we base it off of the leaks from the FTC? How much smaller will it be and without the disk drive as well? So I feel like it'll probably be around the same height, and just a little less girthy, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word for it. And it'll just be a slimmer Xbox Series X, all digital, with some slight upgrades to it. I think maybe better like Wi-Fi card or something, or better Bluetooth, I believe is potentially better, what we saw from the leaks, and USB-C port on the front instead of USB-A, and then just little things like that. But overall, essentially the exact same console. So we'll see if that does come out this year. That's the other thing that is going around right now. Would you guys want to buy an Xbox Series X digital? I guess the other question I have is, do people care anymore about physical games? I still do. I know most people don't, but yeah. If Plumaz doesn't have another person to talk to, he should let us speak to him through Discord and talk about the topic. Say, that's a good idea, Praise the Sun. I would have to set that up. There's also that risk of getting a bunch of crazy people that come on my Discord and stuff, but I'm not actually that afraid about it. But yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Maybe look into that. If you guys would want, like, how many people would want to actually talk? Silent Cipher gifting 20 Plume Network memberships. I appreciate that, Silent. Everyone go subscribe right now, please, to the Xbox International podcast. I am on there all the time. Great podcast. Just had the 100th episode last week with tons of great guests. So if you don't want to just see me talking by myself, this is where you need to go subscribe to right now, where I actually talk to people. Links, I posted the link in the chat. And Silent Cipher is he's the captain of the Xbox International podcast. So go subscribe there right now. MJ Dark, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Yeah. So the discless Xbox Series X digital. Yeah, we'll see if it comes out this year. Crazy Louis funny as what, Talos? Finish sentence. We'll see if it comes out this year. I mean, we've seen conflicting rumors on this thing. Some people have said it's canceled. Now we're seeing that we've seen footage of it, and I think it's gonna come out. You got to ask, as the naysayers and console warriors would say, why would they put out more hardware when there's no exclusive games on Xbox anymore? Why put out new hardware? No one's gonna buy it. Oh, that would actually be a very good use case to see how well that thing does sell. I know I'm interested in picking one up. I'll probably end up picking one up. Place my Series S with it. They increase the storage to 2 terabytes and give us new and improved controller. I'll definitely upgrade. Yeah, that would be cool. I don't know, the new controller. We've seen the leaks of that from the FTC documents. I wonder if they're going to put that out with this, or if they're just going to wait until the next gen. It would be kind of weird to put it out right now. You think about it, right? Like, why come up with a brand new controller that's going to give like some more immersion and a new experience, and put it out with a mid-generation console? Why not just keep that for the next gen? Then you can come out with like a whole new marketing campaign about how this is like a new level of immersion on Xbox never seen before. But don't worry, you're still going to be able to use your Xbox One, your Xbox Series controllers and stuff like that. How cool would it be if they put in a feature where you could use your 360 controller on it? Right? Like, that would be super cool. Project Brooklyn has the new controller. That's from the leaks. Like Xbox, and you can't afford a PC or you want a console experience, yes, get the next Xbox. I agree. I mean, that's the thing too. It's like, not everyone can just go out and buy a PC. Not everyone can just go out and buy a PC. And it's like, you could buy pre-built, which is way easier. I built mine, but like, it's not as simple. Like, when you're shopping, there's so many things to look at in terms of parts, so many different parts, so many things you kind of have to know. So if it's your first time, It's not as simple as just go build a PC, right? People just don't want to do that. They just want to plug in and play. And it's also far more expensive than buying a console. You hope that Jeff Keighley blows into the new Xbox controller. I hope so too. I hope so too. He'll probably blow into it and say that it's not as, I don't know, not as powerful, not powerful as a blow as the PS5 Dual Sense. I don't honestly, the Dual Sense, it's cool. The features, the haptics are great, but like, I don't like the ergonomics of the Xbox controller are still way better, in my opinion. And like the buttons, I hate the face buttons on the DualSense. I know there's always that joke that like you can hear people playing Xbox because of how clicky their buttons are. I don't care. I love the clickiness of the Xbox buttons. I love how you can feel actually pressing the button. I will take the noise all day over the squishiness of the DualSense. I'll take the noise. Give me the noise. I hope Xbox doesn't feel like people don't want the noise anymore, and then they give us squishy buttons that like there's like no feedback when you push them. If they do that, that will be super, super disappointing. If from everything we're seeing, like they're essentially putting the haptics in, probably going to put in some new triggers. Are they just going to follow suit and put in those squishy buttons for less noise? Like I still use when I'm at my PC, I still use this 360 controller, this one from Hyperkin, and this thing is loud as hell. I love it. How do I feel about VR on Xbox? Well, that was actually one of my tops. I was going to talk about PSVR2. So I'm really excited that they're opening PSVR2 up to PC. That's a great move. It actually makes the PSVR2 have legs where it'll be a useful headset. It's a great headset. Honestly, the technology in PSVR2 is awesome. I love it. I love like the rumble. I love the screens in it. The controllers are great. There's just no games. There's no first party games for it. They made they have one Horizon, or maybe they have another one, but I played it last week for a decent amount for the first time in a long time, where bought some third party games that were on sale, but there's no first party games. That's the main reason I bought it. Now you open up to PC and it gets way better. Maybe Xbox just allows their console the ability to be able to actually attach a headset to. I think that would be the smartest thing. Get third-party headsets to be able to be used on your Xbox, and then VR game publishers can publish their games on Xbox if they want to. Silent Cypher with the $5 super chat. Jeff Keighley is the one true judge of if things blow or can be blown. Just saying. Okay. I don't even want to see what he's going to do with the Xbox controller. I don't even want to see. Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I still remember when he opened it up, when he shows off the PS5 with him picking up the DualSense and blowing it as like it was this massive feature. But hey, this is where we get into the marketing thing. I wonder how many PlayStation fans were super excited when they saw Jeff Keighley blowing on that thing. I'm sure they were pretty excited. I wasn't excited, but I'm sure some of the PlayStation fans were pretty excited. The thing, the haptics on new Xbox controller, I don't know if it will be positive, especially if it's mostly multiplayer. I can't play COD on my PS5 with them turned on. Yeah, you just turn all that stuff off for multiplayer. Just turn off all that stuff for multiplayer. I think that I read that like for Call of Duty, large percentage of people just turned off the triggers. That was like one of the main things. You saw like the people like shooting their weapon and like their hand just going crazy. Like no one's playing multiplayer with that stuff on. Nobody wants that on there. He will play Kojima game and blow into the controller while Kojima's gonna have another 20-minute. What's gonna happen is they're gonna come on with the new Xbox controller with Jeff, and it's gonna be like a 20 to 30-minute demonstration of Kojima showing off how to use this new Xbox controller. That's what it's gonna be. Him just talking about random stuff. It's hilarious that Kojima has gotten like at every show in like the last 2 years, like a 20-minute spot. And it has shown, like, let's be honest here, he's announced this game, but has shown nothing. It's just like 20-minute spot of him talking about games that we kind of still know nothing about. Or at least with Overdose. Then the Bill Clinton kid shows up. I did have a structured show today, but we're not going structured. We're not going structured. The Keeley Kojima bromance is a bit much. Wasn't Keeley in Death Stranding? Or is that a troll? My history with Death Stranding isn't the best. Jeff Keighley in Death Stranding. Oh yeah. I wonder if they're real friends or if they just pass bags of money back and forth to each other. That's why they really like each other. When you're the goat like Kojima, you get the spotlight. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, he is in Death Stranding. I knew it. What does he do in Death Stranding? I swear I played Death Stranding for like 10 hours, I think. I couldn't finish it. I didn't want to deliver another package after that. Conan O'Brien's in Death Stranding as well? Did either of them show up in the... Maybe I remember Conan. I wish they would just make it... I wish they would give you the option of just like playing Death Stranding or watching a movie about Death Stranding. Without having to play anything. Jeff has... Imagine Jeff shows up at the... Well, he may actually show up at Xbox shows now with Kojima making a game for them. How strong is the new Xbox going to be? I don't know. Strong. The biggest technical leap. I always like, it sounds cool, but like you gotta like, that's all just marketing stuff. Biggest technical leap. You gotta wait for the actual console itself. But one thing, the power narrative doesn't matter for sales, of course, or for like most gamers don't care about the power narrative. But look at the Nintendo Switch. It's released in 2017, and it's still selling like very well. JJ saying with the 199 super chat, appreciate that, JJ. Digital bought games on xCloud will be awesome. I agree. That's a big thing. When I saw that, I was extremely excited just to be able to play all my purchase stuff wherever I am. And then eventually, hopefully they open it up where it's like you can download all your games purchased wherever device that you're on. Like on my ROG Ally, it would be great if it wasn't just a Game Pass device, if it was also I can download everything that I own from my Xbox account onto the ROG Ally. That would be great. But I hope that does come in the future. I mean, it sounds like that's what they're planning on doing with the Xbox Everywhere stuff. Like that seems like that is the future of Xbox. So that is cool. MJ Dark with the 199 super chat. Appreciate that, MJ. They are making a Death Stranding movie. Oh, they are, aren't they? Did they announce that at the last State of Play? Or is that just his like big movie, his big like new project? I forget. They are making a movie. Okay, maybe I'll check that out to try to understand what's going on in that world. But when I played Death Stranding, right away I was like, man, I wish I could just watch this in movie form. Because Kojima is like, his mind is genius in terms of the stuff he can create. But to me, it's like, if you can create the craziest things, but if you can't convey it where an audience can tell you what's going on, then there has to be a better form of being able to like understand what he's trying to do here. I've talked to so many people who have played Death Stranding. They have no idea what the hell happened in that game or what's going on. They still don't. I'm sure you could look it up on the internet in 5 minutes and figure it out, but like, just after playing the game, so many people that I've talked to still didn't understand what was going on. Am I excited for the Battlefront remaster with multiplayer? Yeah, I'm gonna pick that up for sure. Do I watch and follow any Xbox centric YouTubers? Yeah, Xbox International Podcast. I put here's the link. And WebDave and Gamers Council. Which the link for Gamers Council is in the description. You could tell me the story? Okay. Do I want to know though? Do I really want to sit down and listen to the story? I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, you would be the first that I've talked to. I asked somebody like what the story is about on the spot, and they just gave me this like generic, like, oh, it's about like connecting the world through package delivery. Okay, but that doesn't tell me like what, like, who are the characters, what, like all this stuff, right? That sounds like something Kojima told you to say, but hey, I believe you, MGR, that you'd be able to tell me. But I'll admit, I had no idea what the hell was going on in that game. I played 10 hours. Like, I didn't like it. I didn't like Death Stranding, so I didn't continue it. But I had no idea what was going on. Out of topic, what's your thoughts on a Zelda live action movie Nintendo are apparently doing and missing out on a huge success anime studio Ghibli movie? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Nintendo hasn't really missed, right? Like recently. I mean, the Mario movie was great. We'll see how it goes with live action. I think it would be cool. I think like you could do a good Zelda live action movie for sure. Would I rather animated? Probably. I probably would. But I feel like with that world, especially if they make it dark, like I think they could do a really, really cool live action Zelda movie. I love Zelda. Zelda's one of my favorite franchises, so I'll be tuning in to see like what that's all about. That sounds like someone who didn't play. I played Kingdom Hearts. I have no idea what the hell's going on in Kingdom Hearts either, but I actually enjoyed the gameplay of Kingdom Hearts, so I played through it. Don't ask me to explain Kingdom Hearts to you. I can't. All I know, there's Disney and there's Sora. And there's like Riku or wherever, and they like fight these like dark things with a keyblade. Well, I don't know what's going on in Death Stranding in Kingdom Hearts either. Do I know or watch Doc Dark 19? Yeah, I watch him. He's hilarious. He makes me laugh. I like Doc Dark. Yeah, he's hilarious. Micah Roybal. There's your shout out. Kingdom Hearts is easy to understand. I don't know why people find it so hard. The story is convoluted, but not complicated. Oh, maybe. When did Kingdom Hearts 3 come out? It has been a while, right? That was on the Xbox One and PS4. Let's sign to make plunecast link. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, Richie. Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what Kingdom Hearts is about. I just like that they had Toy Story in Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh, I should be Link in the movie. No, I don't know. I don't think I could be Link. I can only, based off of my contracts, I'm only allowed to act in American Pie. I can't act in as Link. What do I think about Mother 3 going to the Japanese Switch Online and skipping everyone else? I find it hilarious. I actually find it hilarious. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. But I find it hilarious because people have been trying to get Mother 3 over here forever, right? Like there is like you can get Mother 3 translated, and they even released like a English GBA cart of it, right? But yeah, I find it hilarious. Nintendo is like super finicky with this stuff. I don't know why they do these types of things. Like, what would be the reason why they wouldn't bring it to the North American version of Nintendo Switch Online? But yeah, I find it kind of funny, but like also shitty at the same time. Because it's like it's almost like they're trolling. But Nintendo, like we think that like you look okay, so you look at Xbox, right? Xbox open ecosystem. Like they allow you to play wherever you want. And there was up to a certain point before they became, I don't know, probably scared of getting sued or whatever, probably sued by Nintendo more so than anyone. They let you put emulators on the Xbox consoles and they weren't getting banned, right? You could do it on the dev mode. You could do it on the retail mode on Xbox. You could put emulators, play GameCube games, everything. It was awesome. And then I believe they shut them off, at least on the retail. I don't know if you can still do it on the dev mode. You probably can do some. Clown Cypher says, loved you in Orange is the New Black, bro. Okay. I never watched it. I'll be honest. So I don't know who you're referring to, but I will say there are many movies I've actually been in. Other people actually, if I could be in one movie, it would be Happy Gilmore or Rocky. Those are two movies I'd want to be in. I think I've watched like one episode of Orange is the New Black, and I think about it. That's like that prison movie, right? Where it's like the woman prison. I think. What were we talking about here? Also, appreciate Silent with the $2 super chat. I forgot to call out super chat. I do appreciate that. Thank you. What were we talking about here? Oh, I was going over the ecosystems. Xbox ecosystem, pretty open. They let you put emulators, dev emulators, the retail emulators. Then you have a PlayStation, which is closed. They lock you down for everything. It's essentially like Apple. And then you have Nintendo, which is also closed, but also they are they will go after everyone and anyone who messes with their IPs. Who they'll sue everyone. They'll sue everyone. Remember Gary Bowser and Team Executor and stuff with all the Switch emulators. That guy went to jail and got what did he get? Like he had to pay like $1 million or millions of dollars or something, and it was just like some random dude he's Canadian but was living in the Dominican Republic. Like he wasn't wealthy or anything, just like some random guy who was like marketing it, and yeah, he got destroyed by Nintendo. So they'll go over. They will. You don't want to mess with Nintendo. But yeah, Mother 3 is funny. And they wonder why people emulate their games. And people pirate their games. Dang, so you started and didn't even watch the complete product. Yeah, I just show up. I just show up. I don't care if it's good or bad. I'm getting paid for my job. Nintendo ninjas do not play games. They don't. Absolutely not. Do not play games. There's a new thing too that just came out. It's like a Switch cart with like a mini SD or a micro SD card that you could put into it, and then like you can change all your games just by like taking it out and putting it in, and you can store all your Switch games on that. Now I don't participate in any of this, and I don't promote participating in it. So I'm just talking about it. I make sure Nintendo doesn't, you know. No, but honestly, I don't. When I was younger, I used to like be more into that type of stuff, but now now that I can like, I don't know. It's just I buy most of my stuff, but like the stuff you can get from Nintendo games on like PC, it's like so much better playing those games on PC. It makes Switch. That's it. MG Dark. Yeah, it makes Switch. That's it. I find some of that stuff super interesting, like the whole stories behind them, especially when they get caught, and then there's like documentaries on them. Like there's a documentary or like a podcast on Team Executor, which is very interesting. I think it's from it's a podcast called Darknet Diaries. If you're interested in that, it's really cool. And then there's another one about the guys who hacked or leaked the Xbox One specs, and then they created a PC with those specs and sold it on like eBay. What are those guys called again? Those guys, that was really interesting too. They were just like a bunch of teenagers. Anyways, that was really cool too. Xbox Underground, that's what they were called. I find that stuff super interesting. If Xbox brought the option of Game Pass free with ads, do you think it would be good? Yeah, people would definitely just do that. I feel like even if they were to bring an option of Game Pass of like $5 a month with ads, I still think that's kind of worth it. Because like you're still getting if they give you an option of like between $5 and $10 a month, and they have that. Well, I guess right now, what's the current price of console per se? What is it? $10 or $11 a month? They give you like an option of like $5 or $7 a month of Game Pass full access to it with ads in there, meaning that like there's ads in like the library. There's probably a pre-roll ad when you start a game. I think people would subscribe to that. I think people definitely would. Weren't those guys called Kind of Funny Games that leaked the Xbox One stuff with Jeff Keighley? Kind of Funny, they are the ones that will not talk about the Insomniac leak. That's what I know. $5 Canadian, so yeah, that's like $7 American, right? Like that's like $7, $8. I don't know. I don't even know what the dollar is right now. Has it gotten shittier? It's been about the same for a while. One Canadian dollar is 74 cents USD. So it would be $5 US would be 676 Canadian. I read comments and I laugh, but I don't read them sometimes. But I still laugh. Kind of, yeah. I didn't. That's so funny. I didn't even realize that they were in Spider-Man 2. Like obviously, there's a conflict of interest there as to why they won't talk about it. It's so stupid. Like, you're a journalist. It's your job. Do your job. You know what I mean? Like, do your job. How can you trust anything that comes out of them when they're talking about PlayStation or they're talking about any? You can't. Like, even if they are being honest with their opinions, it's just like, how can you trust anything? They talk about every other leak, but Insomniac hits and they just won't talk about it because they have friends at Insomniac. Then they shouldn't be journalists. Like, that shouldn't be their profession. That doesn't make any sense. I'm in the game, but that does not bias me in any way. Yeah, I don't listen. I haven't listened to Kind of Funny in years. Honestly, when it comes to Kind of Funny, I'll be completely honest with you. I know people hate Colin Moriarty, but the way that Greg Miller did Colin dirty when he made that joke on Twitter, which was like such a like light-hearted joke, and then they just like cut him off and he left. Like, to me, that was just like, all right, that's like, that shows you like kind of like Greg's character. That shows you like Kind of Funny's character. Because they were like friends, right? They were like good. They worked at IGN and all this stuff, and I listen to Colin sometimes, but not that much either anymore. But yeah, Colin, yeah, he is. He's definitely like, he was like celebrating when the whole news was coming out about Xbox games going to PlayStation. Well, not celebrating, but like he was basically saying he was correct. That's why you make sure to talk bad about Halo. I watched Defining Dukes. Cog's great. I like Cog. Maddie's good too. I think those guys are great. Like, listen, I don't even think like, I know people like Colin. He gives off like an arrogance to him, but the reality is like, I disagree with a lot of stuff he says, but I don't like, that's it. I just disagree with his opinions. I don't really have anything against Colin because I disagree with his opinions. Whatever. I like Colin way more than Greg and way more than Kind of Funny. I'll tell you that much. I'll choose to listen to Sacred Symbols before I ever listen to Kind of Funny. But yeah, I can definitely see. You go on social media and it's like people always just angry at him. The one thing when it comes to like gaming community stuff is like people have opinions all over the board. But like if you're like normal adult, like you understand that it's okay to have different opinions. Some people just get so angry over a different opinion. And the other thing too is like social media. You look at like Twitter or X or whatever it's called. People read tweets in ways that they want to read them, and it could literally mean completely different. Like the person who wrote it could mean it in a completely different way, but because the person's reading it with like a negative tone or a positive tone or whatever, they take it in a completely different direction, and they get pissed off when it could not mean that at all. It's hard. Like interpretation just by reading text is like almost impossible as to what the person means. Just the hypocrisy that trait. Yeah, for sure. No, I get it. I get that for sure. I'd rather watch Jeff Keighley blowing his PS5 controller than either of them. Colin doesn't make me angry. I get annoyed and feel gross of anything. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not a he's definitely a polarizing character. I didn't know that, Legal Dad. I don't follow him nearly enough to know like that stuff. I'll be honest. Most of the time, it's like sometimes the clips on X, but most of my sacred symbols is defining dukes. I like Cog and I like Maddie. JJ saying with the 199 super chat. What if Sega revives the Sega Channel? Like the Dreamcast online feature when you could log in? Is that what you're talking about? Am I getting that right? Or are you talking about Genesis? I was a Super Nintendo kid. Although I love Sega too. JJ saying, I appreciate the 199 super chat. It'd be cool if they revive some of that old stuff though. Like what they're doing with their retro revivals with like Crazy Taxi, with Shinobi, and just like that, what they showed off at the Game Awards, that's probably the thing that has me most excited from Sega coming out. Like Crazy Taxi looks super cool. Reformed, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming out. Appreciate you hanging out. Have a good night, Reformed. Sega Channel Dreamcast guy. It was like Game Pass when they the Sega Channel. Okay. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. That was on Genesis, right? I'm gonna look it up right now. Yeah, it was so Sega Channel. Discontinued online game service developed by Sega for the Sega Genesis video game console, serving as a content delivery system. Launched on December 14th, 1994. Was provided to the public by TCI and Time Warner Cable through Okay, I remember this. Yeah, I never had this. But yeah, I remember this. What were the games that were on there? Okay, let's see here. Games for the service included Sonic and Knuckles, Eternal Champions, Space Harrier 2, all great games, Super Street Fighter 2, Pulseman, Mega Man, The Wily Wars. Wasn't this one only in Japan when it first came out? Oh, it was in Japan. Okay, yeah. Or you couldn't get it. A lot of people had to emulate that one. Like currently, Alien Soldier, Primal Rage. Oh, that's you imagine they did that? Maybe that's part of their super game, bringing back the Sega Channel. That would be super cool. Wow, as if Sega was the first to Game Pass. Sega Channel was the Game Pass before Game Pass. That's crazy. Who would have thought? Yeah, I never had the Sega Channel though. Like I said, I was a Super Nintendo back then. I wasn't a Sega kid. I was a Nintendo kid. But I discovered Sega like later on, and I think Sega is awesome. Hey, aren't they what 5 studios and 1 publisher would you want Microsoft to get by? I can't think at the top of my mind like 5 studios that I would want them to buy. I think they need to get more into the Japanese studios. Sega would be and I think as a publisher, to me, that would be the one. If they were going to get one publisher, it's the one that makes the most sense for everything that they want to do. Will it happen? Probably not. But I believe there is a rumor that with the retro game Sega is bringing back, Panzer Dragoon is one of those games. I believe that is one of the games that they are going to be bringing back, which is like very cool. There's the Panzer Dragoon. Is it Orda on Xbox, the OG Xbox? Yeah, Panzer Dragoon Orda on the OG Xbox. If you play that right now on your Series X, it looks so good. It looks so good. Like with the upgrades that it has. Oh man, that's one of the best features of Xbox is the backwards compatibility stuff. I wish there was just more OG Xbox and 360 games that they could get on there. Obviously, I think a lot of that has to do with licensing and the fact that they closed down the backwards compatibility program, which was unfortunate. But man, that game looks so good with the upscale and resolution. I think it also has like auto HDR and stuff. Like it is really, really good. Hey, Talos, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. You have a good one as well. They need to get back in good terms with Remedy. They need to, and Quantum Break 2, I would love to see that, but like a no-brainer would be Pocket Pair with Palworld. They just reached 25 million gamers on there. Like Pocket Pair, like it's, to me, that is such a huge success. And it's like, there's going to be like, when people look at like, how do I say this to make sense? I'm trying to I'm trying to get the thought in my mind here. The whole thing about like third party skipping Xbox, right? Look what happens when you can put a game like Palworld on there. The success of that, 10 million on Xbox alone into Game Pass players in there. 15 million on Steam is what that's the numbers that they gave. So it's like, it's not about the amount of consoles. The consoles have stagnated. And I'm sure these companies also don't just look at how many console sales there are. They also look at like how much money is being spent on purchasing games and stuff within PlayStation, all this type of stuff. I mean, it's not just a single, like, it's how many players that they can get games in front of. And if Xbox ecosystem expands out to like as many things as possible, there's going to be more players that are going to get within the Xbox ecosystem, which will attract third parties over. It's not just about how many consoles there are. And then if Xbox at some point, which is Xbox everywhere, which we've seen that's what their goal is. If you can start downloading your games that you've purchased via Xbox and play it on any device, that already is going to kill any of those arguments that third parties are going to skip Xbox, because why put games on a console that isn't selling well? Because they're not going to look at the console sales. They're going to look at the user base within the ecosystem. If that number is exploding, then they're going to be putting their games there no matter what, because they know that people can just buy the game on Xbox and play it anywhere. Buy it via an app on their phone, right? Because Xbox is probably going to make an app where you can go in there, you can buy anything from their store. You can play Game Pass, buy it on your app, and then go play it on your go play it. You can play it on your phone via the cloud or whatever, right? So that's like what third parties are going to be looking at. They're not going to be looking at console sales. And we can see already proof of that. But I think the whole third party argument is kind of ridiculous, but we can already see proof of that, because if you look at the increase in like them getting Atlas games, Square games, Final Fantasy 14, right? Like those types of games on Xbox would have never thought were coming last generation. They came this generation, even though right now the Series X is tracking behind the sales numbers of the Xbox One. So to me, that kind of shows that it's not at all that they're not looking specifically at the console sales. Do you think Xbox would actually make another purchase? I think they need to pump the brakes and figure out how to handle running ABK versions. Personally, I don't think that they're going to be making another purchase. That's just I know people have talking about acquisitions and there's always rumors on it and stuff, but no, I agree with you, Prayson. I don't think that they are going to be making one. And I totally agree with that too. They need to figure out how to handle ABK, because they can keep making purchases, but if they don't figure out how to handle all these studios, then what's the point, right? They're going to build up a bunch of studios and they're going to piss off a bunch of people in the way that they release games, which is going to kill goodwill, going to kill people wanting to their confidence in the brand and stuff. But no, I definitely think first and foremost, they need to figure out how to handle ABK and handle just all the studios that they have before they go out and make more purchases. Xbox needs graphics, no more cartoons. Hey, Hellblade 2 is coming out of May. That's going to be their graphical showcase. Elder Scrolls 6 Fridge Edition. Honestly, the Samsung TV thing, I don't have a Samsung TV, but my friend does. And I was shocked at how well Game Pass worked just via the TV. I think he has like the best internet and stuff. Uses remote play all the time with his PS5. Everything works great. But just load a Game Pass on his Samsung TV and boom, right into it. And it's seamless, like right within the menu. That's something I think definitely will people will be using. Hellblade 2 seems a bit too much like a pony movie game. I hope I'm wrong. I don't know, Robin. Yeah, I think you're gonna be. I think it'll be similar. But I think Xbox needs that, and they need at least a couple, 1, 2 of those. And I agree. Like I'm not the biggest fan of those styles of games. I'm not even a big fan of the first Hellblade. I've said this in my videos many times. I like story was cool. I totally get the story was like captured people, but I would have rather watched Hellblade in a movie form, to be honest, because the gameplay to me was so boring. So if they can improve on the gameplay, then I'm in. If they can give us good combat and not repetitive puzzles and just like something more, and I feel like they should be able to with Microsoft backing them, I'm in for sure. But if it's a movie game and it's like more of the same, that will be disappointing to work for me. I have a Samsung TV and not the best internet here in the UK, but Game Pass is really smooth on it. I was shocked. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Yeah, maybe it's something like maybe they get like a better, I don't know, but the Samsung TV thing was the time that I saw it in action, I was impressed. I'm not the biggest cloud gaming guy, so when I saw it on the Samsung TV and it worked and it didn't look pixelated and it was like on a big, it was like a 65-inch, maybe even bigger than that TV. I was like, damn, it works well. Xbox needs consistency like Plume. I agree. They should hire me as a consistency consultant. All right. I mean, we still got 126 in if you guys knew. I quickly in the chat before I do end this, if you guys don't mind. Do you want me to have like a more structured show? Because I feel like I come on, I have topics, I have them set up in my mind, right? I even have I made a Word document just like with links and stuff and like topics. Then I get on here, we're just chatting for like 2 hours. It's just like I feel like this is just like this is better. But what do you guys think? Would you rather me have more like there's so many Xbox podcasts out there. Again, XBI, Xbox International, go subscribe and check out them. That's like more structured. There's topics and we get into topics. But my channel is just me and I just like talk to you guys when we hang out. Would you rather that or would you rather just like I'm thinking just talking, right? I gotta figure out ways to kind of spice it up a little bit too. I could have both? Yeah, you're right. I could have both. But like I feel like my structured stuff is my daily videos at 8 a.m. where I go through everything in a structured form. Yeah, I think I'm probably just gonna keep with the talking and the chill and just hanging out. All right, cool. I appreciate that feedback, guys. I gotta get some like sound effects and I gotta get some like music. I gotta get something. But yeah. I'm gonna call quits for this week. Tomorrow's episode 8 a.m. talking about the Xbox Digital, some Xbox player numbers. What else am I talking about? I'm ruining the show for you, but just so you guys, in case you'll be interested in it. What else are we talking about here? I gotta go talk about Lost stuff. Age of Empires, Call of Duty, Suicide Squad, Power World, Xbox marketing on PlayStation. We could have talked about that tonight, but I'll leave that for the show tomorrow. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Everyone has a good week, and I will catch you guys in my videos in the morning. I'll catch you guys in next Sunday as well. So everyone have a good week. Have a good weekend. And I will see you later. Before I go, you can spice up and invite Nadia around to study while all right. Have a good night, guys.